So in this video, I'm going to do a short comparison between LastPass and Bitwarden. The reason I'm comparing Bitwarden and LastPass is because I'm a LastPass user and have been for a long time, and I want to see how Bitwarden compares to that. This is not going to be a comprehensive review, but I'm going to talk about the features that I use most often and how those compare. So let's talk about the import or the export of data from LastPass into Bitwarden. It was actually a very simple process. So you're going to log into your LastPass account, click on export. It's going to create a JSON or a CSV file, save that file. And then once you get that file on your computer, you're going to go back and log into Bitwarden. Once you're logged in, you go to Tools, Import Data, and then you'll select the LastPass type of import file, choose the file from that you just saved, and import it. And this process takes a little bit of time depending on how many items you have in your vault. Once the import's complete, you'll get a notification that it's done, and you should see all of your passwords and usernames in your vault that you brought in from LastPass. You can see it creates a whole bunch of folders based on automatic intelligence. Those folders were not in my LastPass, but they've created those based on the website. All your secure notes are also here. Brings those in from LastPass. If you had any cards, anything, but most everything will be under login, and of course the different folders. You can click on the different folders and see the content there and how it was sorted. Again, these folders were created by Bitwarden. I didn't have any of these folders specified in my LastPass account. So let me take you through just a few settings and tools that are in the Bitwarden UI here. So we can do a password generator. Obviously, we can set the length. You can also do a passphrase, which is interesting. You can set number of words, word separator, but you can go through and set the length, minimum number of special characters, and then you can do all the lowercase, uppercase, add some special characters, avoid ambiguous, regenerate. And what's interesting is you can go back through. One of the things I've done before is I've generated a password, and for whatever reason it didn't save when I was in LastPass. And I didn't know what it was, and I had to start the whole process over again. So that's just a pain, right? So here you can get your password history, and it looks like, I don't know how far back this goes. You can see that these are all today right now. So if I decided that I had a reason where I didn't save something in my password manager, I can go back and see what my passwords were and try a couple of these to see if that's the one I use for the site. So that's helpful. Again, you can import the data. You can export your vault, and we talked about this in the last video. Just remember, if you export your vault, it's not encrypted. Be very careful about where you put that, because then somebody could gain access to all your passwords. These are kind of cool. You can do exposed password reports. So I can go through here and look at all of the different passwords in my vault, and it will tell me if they've been exposed in a data breach anywhere. This takes quite a long time, at least in my experience it does. You can see all of these passwords. I've got a couple of passwords for old stuff here. You can see here this one's exposed 48,000 times. I think that's ABC123 or something, or 1234, I don't know. Let's see. This password is admin. Obviously that's a default password. A caveat here is that I haven't actually cleaned up my vault. So a lot of these are old devices and things that I was playing with, and it auto-saved those passwords. I've since changed them, obviously. In fact, I don't even have these devices anymore. Okay, so 40 items. You can do a reused password report, same kind of thing. It tells you how many times you've used the password on different sites. Weak passwords, same concept. It's going to go through and check and see how many of your passwords are weak, or in some of my cases, very weak. Unsecured website report. This tells you all the sites that don't have HTTPS or SSL enabled in the URI that's in the setup. So you want to go through and check and make sure that when you go to these sites, if you click on them through through Bitwarden, it'll go HTTPS, so it's SSL based. Most websites at least of any kind of value or credibility, auto redirect you to HTTPS anyway, so it's not a big deal. But it is an option for you to check that. You can check and see which sites have no two-factor authentication. And then you can use this data breach report. Oh, by the way, the 2FA report will give you instructions for each site on how to configure two-factor authentication for those sites. Data breach report, you can put in an email address, and that email address, then you can check it for breaches, data breaches. So those are some pretty cool tools that Bitwarden has built into it. So under options, lock options, you can do different lock times for the web vault experience. So that's how often or how long until the vault locks itself. Now, under LastPass, you could set this to be 30 days. You could trust a computer for 30 days, at least under the app. This is a maximum of 4 hours. And I will, when we get to the app part, I will talk about the difficulties with the locking of that. Language settings, of course. Organizations, you can create organizations. You can do two-step logins. Again, we talked about this on the last video. I've set up an authenticator app using the Yubico authenticator as well as the OTP security keys. So I have access to log in either way, but it's two-factor. And then domain rules, we talked about that a little bit. These domain rules, what it basically looks like to me is that there are a lot of sites that are in the same family of businesses, and they're either redirects from the main site to the other one or very closely related websites. And so if you go to one of them, your password and login might be recognized as belonging to that family of sites, and it would just log in with that one. I am just going to leave this alone. It hasn't affected me. I'm not going to create any new custom domains. I don't see any reason for that. So those are the settings there. Now, if we go into the app, the extension here, you're going to have the same, pretty much the same settings. You're going to have your folders, your sync. With the sync, I noticed that there was an issue where I saved or I updated a password manually when I changed it on one of my sites. And when I did a sync, or when it synced, it actually pulled the password from the vault instead of pulling the password from the app and updating everything everywhere else. It updated from the vault back to the app, and then I lost the password. The password history, I didn't actually know about that at the time, would have helped me solve that problem, because I had to go through the whole forgot password scenario with the website again to get it. And when it asked me to save the password in the dialog that drops down or shows up on the browser, I then saved it that way, and it was almost an immediate sync. So when you do the sync correctly, it seems to be immediate. But if I fill it in manually, I'm not sure which direction, which thing owns the synchronization. Is it the vault, or is it the app or the extension? So be careful with that. If you think you're syncing it or saving it manually in the Chrome extension or in one of the extensions on one of the browsers, it may not actually save it. So beware of that. But when it does work, it's very fast. I did a sync for a website, or I actually just updated via the drop-down that shows up when you change a password. And I checked my phone app and I checked the Firefox app, and they all were updated almost instantaneously. So that's pretty awesome. Vault timeout, we talked about this on the browser vault, but you also on the app can do it all these different time frames, even on system lock and browser restart. I've got it set to 4 hours. It seems to me like it's not exactly keeping or honoring this timeout. If I lock my screen, it seems to lock me out. Some more work or experimentation needs to be done there. So if I choose browser restart, I'm assuming if I leave my browser open, it will keep me logged in. Again, one of the things with LastPass will let me do is I was able to stay logged in for 30 days. You could click the little box and stay, trust this computer for 30 days. With the length of my master password, it's just a pain to log that in all the time. So, we'll keep playing with and see that it's not a deal breaker, but it is kind of painful to use every time I have to log in. You can also tell it to log out or lock. on the vault timeout action. And then unlock with PIN. You can use a PIN to unlock it. That seems to work just fine. What I've also noticed that is if this locks and I put in my master password, it does not unlock it. It gives me an error. It just doesn't do it. But if I actually let it time out and lock my Chrome app or my Firefox app for that matter, it does not let me put it lets me put the master password in, but it doesn't work. It tells me bad password. I have to completely log out of the app and log back in. It works just fine after that. But the unlock with PIN seems to work fine. So if I click the unlock with PIN and I set a PIN or whatever, it would actually unlock it just fine. So I can lock it now. Let's just do this now and let's just see. So if I type in my master password, it says an error has occurred, invalid master password. Well, I know I typed it correctly because I've done this bunches of times. So log out is my only option here. I'll log back in and I will type in and there it logs in. Now I need my YubiKey, wherever I put that. And let me lean out of the frame here. And where did it go? All right, so I guess I'll do it again. All right, so there's my, and now I'm logged back in again. So you can see that it doesn't work right. I'm not sure what the issue is with that. All right, so go back to settings, options. We'll go through some of the rest of these. Two-step login, I already have that enabled. It takes you to the vault to do that, but I already have that turned on, so I'm not going to do anything with that. You can change the master password, fingerprint phrase, you can get that. You can log out. And of course, all the tools that we talked about under the vault are the same tools that you have here. Some other options here. You can enable autofill on page load. I like that a lot. The caveats to that are if you have, like I do, I have some sites that I've had multiple logins on, and through the years I've added different like duplication or duplicate logins for the same site just because I haven't cleaned up the old ones. So it may put the wrong one in and try to autofill the wrong one, and that may run you into some issues. But overall, for the most part, playing around with it, it's auto-filled correctly on most of the sites I've gone to, and then I just click login and I'm good to go. If you don't do that, you actually have to, it'll have a little number that pops up here. And in fact, let's just go ahead and do that. I'll show you a site that I go to. And now you'll see, since I turned off auto login, I've got a couple of options up here. It says 2, so there's 2 sites. And then if I click on this, I'll have the option of clicking here and it fills it in for me. If I go to options and I turn autofill on, then it'll automatically fill it in for me. I won't have to go through that clicking business. You can do base domain. Host starts with regular expression, exact or never on the URI match detection. So if you have, and this isn't going to work so well on some of these sites, but if you have something that's exact, like you want to go to www.domain.com with nothing after it and use that as the login, then you can do exact. But if you have something like the Amazon or news sites or whatever that have www.newssite.com / a whole bunch of gibberish, if you choose exact here, it won't match that domain. It won't offer that to you. You can still use Bitwarden. You just have to go into Bitwarden, search your vault for the domain you know you're on, and then copy or autofill it from there. So I just leave it on base domain, and if I have to selectively get something from another extended URI, I'll do that. I clear the clipboard after 2 minutes. Your choice to never do it or just pick a time. I don't do any disable automatic TOTP copies. I don't show the cards on the tab page. I don't disable add login notifications. That basically says if you create a new login on a site, it's going to prompt you to add that site to LastPass. I'll leave that on. So yes, I actually want that to happen. Password change notification. It prompts you to update a password if you change it on a site. And that's where I talked about earlier. If you manually do it, for some reason the sync, I don't know what the source of truth for sync is. I guess it's the main vault. So it'll re-sync to your browser extension and just wipe out your new password. But if you do the change password through the dialog that comes up on the browser whenever you do change a password, it pushes the sync back to the vault, and we're all golden there. It works just fine. Obviously, you can change the theme to light, dark, Nord, whatever you feel like. I happen to like the Nord on that one. And so that's the app. Now, I was going to show you the phone app, but my screen recorder on the phone actually will not record the Bitwarden contents, which is for security reasons, which is great. So I don't have that on there. So here's some other caveats. I mean, that's the basic gist of Bitwarden, right? But some caveats I have are some of the stuff I talked about. Make sure you use autofill if you like that. If you're port restricted, you may have some problems accessing Bitwarden from outside on a port restricted network. The master password we talked about doesn't unlock an app whenever it gets locked on the browser extensions. Locking out, logging back in takes care of that. Deleting from the app doesn't seem to work either. So if we go to the app and we try to delete one of the domains, if I search for just a random domain, we'll just pick one here, and I click on delete item, it doesn't go away. So not sure why that is. It just doesn't seem to do it. It works great from the vault, but it just doesn't go away from the app, and that doesn't work on any of the apps, the browser extensions. So for whatever reason, that's an issue. We talked about sync. Sync seems instantaneous. Like I talked about, I really like the autofill feature with LastPass. There was a little box that would show up inside of the text fill box, and in some cases that would interfere with another thing that some sites put on the right hand side in that box. So you'd have some contention between LastPass and other UI stuff that goes on certain sites. That's not a problem at all with LastPass or with Bitwarden, because it just autofills it. But so far, I've had good experience with it. I've disabled LastPass on all of my browsers and in my phone, and I've been using Bitwarden exclusively for the past week or so and haven't had any issues. All right, so just a quick little rundown of Bitwarden and what I've done with it. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. That really helps the channel grow, and I want to make more videos for you. So having that channel grow helps me to be able to do that and justify it to my family. And if you feel like you want to support me, leave me a coffee or whatever on the Ko-fi.com website. Links are below and up here, as well as if you really like the videos and want to become a supporting member, jump over to Patreon and become a patron. And we'll see you on the next video.